Welcome back. Uh, we have today's episode, which consists of a few questions that I want to answer real quick, and I think it's gonna truly help you guys, especially some of you who are, uh, in these circumstances. I think you guys are gonna benefit a lot from these questions, and stay tuned. I really, really do think that you guys are going to benefit from this episode. So, starting off with question number one, I sometimes regret not being or doing things the way I wish I could have done them. Any tips for letting go of the past regrets? Okay, so for starters, you're not gonna get the things from the past. They're very much concrete things, but you can't do anything about them, right? A lot of the times, I believe we think that we have control over the past, and the truth is, we had control over the past, and so in there's no point in being there unless you actively want to get sad, right? And so I would getting over it, I would just say just pay attention to what you have right now. That you can't do anything about that stuff. You know, paying attention to where you are right now, and now the present is probably more concrete than the past, right? Because you think about where you are right now, what you're looking at, um, what you see, what you hear, right, as well as what you smell, right? Don't. It's not good to get caught up in the past too often. So it's always more beneficial to just to be here. Don't You don't have to go to the past. It's good to reflect and to see uh how it's good. It's good that you think about the actions and the stuff. It's good to do all that stuff. uh give yourself credit. I think you're a lot smarter than you think you are, and there's a good chance that you don't have to like, looking back is cool, and uh, from going about it through a point of regret, it's not gonna help. You'll feel guilty. You'll feel all kinds of weird stuff, and it's gonna make you feel like uh it's just not gonna feel good. You know what I mean? So any tips? um have goals. Have goals. uh if When you tap into your goals, you're tapping into your future, and you're also realizing, like, if when you have goals, it gives the past, uh it gives it a purpose. uh because you're learning, and you're gonna figure these things out, and the past is just you figuring things out. And that's you figuring things out. I think that's more of a beautiful thing than anything else, where it's, you stumble, you fall, you're figuring things out, and you're trying things, and you're seeing how they go. That's fantastic. That means you're trying, and you're looking for new avenues to see how things go. I think that's fantastic. So if you are doing that in the first place, good job. And two, have some goals and shoot for those. Pay attention to your goals. Don't pay attention to your past. Um, don't not in a form of regret, because you can't change that stuff, and that stuff isn't gonna is you can't change any of that. You know, it's not gonna help you. What is gonna help you is your goals. and the places that you're gonna go, the experiences that you're gonna have, the things that you'll create, the people that you'll impact. Um, that's what really matters, and it makes the past worth it. It makes the stumbling and the falling and all that stuff. And if those thoughts come back up, you're like, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. All right, cool. Where we going? Where we going? What we gonna do? What we gonna do with the things that we've learned? Because we learned something, and that there's education that you could buy, and then there's education that is free, uh, and that because it's priceless. So you got some priceless education underneath your belt, which is a fantastic thing. So keep up the great work. That's what I'll say. Any tips? Keep up the great work. Uh, Let me see. Okay, let me put this up here so I can see it. Uh, I get I get caught up in my own head and feel like I can't get anything right. How can I feel more confident and get out of my own head? So, uh, do things. Doing things, doing things in specific to do things in progression, right? So what that means is, okay, so you have, like I said, if you have some goals, that stuff is gonna help you out tremendously, and you don't need to get, I mean, like, um, get caught up in my own head. I feel like you can't do anything right. No, you're not gonna do everything right, and so to say that you can't do anything right, that's not true. That's actually false. And any statements, and I've learned this, that any statements that have anything, every time, always, are usually very, very not true. Because it's impossible to always, like, if you are consistently doing things wrong, uh, that means you're consistent at something. And so, it's almost impossible. And granted, there's probably times that you've done more things right than anything else. Uh, that's probably more true than anything, because there's this book called The Art of Communication. Recommend reading it, and it talks about how it's just you like it says this one thing. It says, if you say that you are right, you are partly wrong, and if you say you are wrong, uh, you are partly not that you are partly right, but in a sense, you're never fully gonna be right about anything, and you're never gonna be fully wrong about anything ever. Like, it's very like it's and I guess you can take this with you when it comes to criticism. No one's ever gonna be fully right about anything. About anything. It's very impossible to be correct. And so, yeah, I wouldn't get caught doing anything right. It's no, no, let's not even go there, because you're doing a lot of things right. There's so many more things I could probably count. If I knew, like, you're probably doing way more in 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 progression towards your goals than you actually think you probably are doing, that you're just not giving yourself credit for. Uh, it's just a very ignorant statement. Can't get anything right. I would just that's not a you know it's not a conceptually correct argument. It's not a conceptually correct. It doesn't fit. It's not a good puzzle piece at all to even give that much attention to, because it's and shoot, if you're that consistent, good job. Keep up the great work, because you're consistent. You're consistent at doing something. which consistency itself is a very difficult thing to come by nowadays. So, great work. I get sad when I'm all alone by myself. Many times I think about what even is the point of going outside and making friends. Any tips for getting over this? Uh, you know, it's good to know. Like I'll put it in perspective. If I, so, let's say you have goals, and if you're on this channel, there's a good chance you have goals, right? You have things that you aspire to do and look towards achieving, right? And you probably got some big dreams. So what I would go ahead and say is, what even is the point of going outside and making friends? Uh, go out. I mean, like, here's why. I'm not just gonna tell you to go out. Going out, socializing, socializing, uh, that is a very key component of your health in general. Just having really good health. Now, granted, making good friends. You gotta have the right friends, right? So I would say go out on a journey to make good friends. And what's the point of even going out and making friends? I mean, look, you gotta socialize, man. You gotta get out there. And let's say you don't want to socialize, no pressure. Don't, don't. Uh, I will say just there is merit, and I get and this is something that I'm learning is uh, togetherness is a very important thing. There was there's this video I watched of people in Japan who one of the biggest contributors to their longevity was community. They had people, they had others who spoke with them, supported them, and gave them love and let them know that they were loved. And so, I think one of the best benefits of having a community is that you get this feeling of being part of something greater than yourself that also loves you. And it's real, it's a concrete thing. And I would highly recommend it. I believe that, I mean, go outside, man. Go outside, make friends, don't be shy. Um, don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know it's a lot easier said than done. I was, start small. Start small, like give somebody a compliment. Give somebody a compliment. You could start there. Hey, I like your shoes, and you'll start to see how good that can begin to feel. When you just give somebody a compliment, and it's a way to get yourself, up and going. Go outside for a walk. Uh, go somewhere where there's some people. You don't have to say anything. And if you are gonna say anything, just say, "Hey, I like your pants. I like your pants. I like your shoes. I like your hat." You don't have to say all of it at once. Just one should suffice. And you're like, "Yo, I like your hat. I like whatever you got going on. Cool outfit, right?" And you start feeling good, and you begin to feel what that is. That person might feel great about that. They'll feel good about, oh, I got a compliment. It's not every day somebody gets a compliment. You'd be surprised. Okay. I'm working on saving up to get out of my mom's crib. Her comments can at times cause me to get depressed and sometimes even really sad. How can I survive mentally the time I spend home while I work on moving out? So, uh, okay. So I'll come and give you I'm gonna really try to give you a good guidance here. Okay, so uh, for one, find a way to communicate this to her. Uh, be as professional as you can, as respectful as you can, right? Uh, just be respectful. Be like, hey, the comment, just bring awareness to the situation. First off, just bring awareness. Uh, After that, uh, keep it short, keep it sweet, respectful. Just if you can, bring it up, right? And just say, hey, your comments hurt me deeply. Cool. Uh, this is your mother, so I would definitely say like this person's gonna have a bit more of a grasp on your identity in a very deep way. So understand that. Understand that. Get to understand that feeling of like, oh, this person means a significant amount, right? Like subconsciously, right? Get to know that, get to understand that. Next, uh you want to begin, and this is part of having your goals. When you have your goals, what that does is that it creates a north star for you to go to. The reason you need this so deeply is because when something happens and it's a lot easier to just get past it when you have that north star, and it's very important to have it and make it a very strong thing, right? You want to have a very strong north star. The biggest reason for this is because it's gonna help get that stuff out the way, right? You'll disregard the negativity so much easier because of this positivity that you have going for you. Uh, and focus on your goals, man. You wanna have an obsession with your goals. You wanna have an obsession so deeply that any comment, anything uh, that just isn't in correlation or in connection to it would just go away. You know what I'm saying? That's how deeply you want to be connected to your goals, because it just, your goals, man, are everything. Everything from how healthy you want to be. Like, let's say you really want some good mental health. I mean, you're gonna have you're gonna have affirmations, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy ready for yourself, right? You're gonna have let's say your spiritual health. You're probably gonna start playing music a lot more to take care of your health, right? Your spiritual health. You're probably gonna start to uh you're probably gonna start to go to the gym and take care of your physical health, cook, right? And it's just this obsession that you have with your goals is going to combat any of that negativity, right? And so it really is like you have to become obsessed and remain obsessed. From every direction you look, every thought you have has to do with these goals, because it really it just it's the greatest remedy for it's the greatest remedy for any of the negativity that could come into your life. And it's not like and I guarantee it's not just gonna be from your mother. It's not just gonna be from your lady, your girlfriends. It's not just gonna be from them. It's gonna be from everywhere. All kinds of different sources are gonna constantly try to shift you away from your goals. That's a natural thing of life, and you've gotta be obsessed. You have to be your goals. You know what I mean? Embody your goals. When you embody your goals in every way, shape, or form, nothing could really nothing could touch you. When you have such a strong fortitude of when you have such a strong fortitude, and you understand your own identity to such a hardcore. I recommend meditation for this, right? When you meditate, you're actually sitting with yourself and getting to understand your subconscious. When you can understand your subconscious, you're gonna understand all the things that are buried beneath, underneath, right? Like, and usually those are the things that get manifested that we don't pay attention to. And so when you sit and you're meditating and you pay attention to those things in your subconscious, what you are basically doing is grabbing back at those limiting beliefs that you could have, right? Oh, I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. I always do this. I can't do this, right? All those things, you're going to see them and you're going to experience them. And you're going to feel them along your breath as you're breathing, right? In your meditation. Capture them, get to know them. One of the biggest things that the two greatest things that uh any child when they're young is looking for is to feel safe and to feel real, right? I spoke about this previously in some other videos. uh you have to assume parental positioning over your own life. You have to be there for yourself like nobody else. You know what I mean? And it's an incredibly important part of the process. You just being there for yourself, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, being and we have a monkey brain. It's gonna go off and do its own things. We can't let it we can't let it go off and create negative thought patterns of things that aren't even true. It's gonna hurt you, right? And it's I mean, it's trying to solve a problem. It's trying to self-preservate. That's really what the monkey brain, the subconscious, is always going to try to do. And so it's incredibly important that we pay attention to that subconscious and program it. There are things like prayer where you intentionally, you believe in something so deeply down at your core that it allows it to manifest amongst your subconscious. That's powerful stuff. That's very powerful stuff. Having a consistent praying or schedule or routine, right? It's incredibly important. Uh, and yeah, man, you gotta really do the self care, and you cannot overdose on self care. Cannot. You cannot. I, I don't I don't see that. I don't see it. It can't. I mean, if you take too many showers throughout the day, maybe you'll be a little wrinkly. I don't know. You know what I mean? If you eat too much good food, you get diarrhea. I don't know. I don't know. You feel like you can overdo anything, but you gotta be there for yourself unconditionally. Unconditionally be there for yourself. Unconditionally, man. Unconditionally. Well, that's it for me for today, guys. There are some more questions that I definitely want to get to. Uh, I'm gonna keep this video short because I do have to go. Uh, yeah, yeah. Uh, keep up the great work. Keep up the great work. You are not alone. You are amongst many. Find those many because you are not alone. If you try to do this alone, it's not going to work. As much as I said, self care is super important, it is. And part of, caring about yourself is surrounding yourself with people who also care about themselves, because then they'll be able to care about you. Okay. I love you. Once again, take care of yourself. Love yourself. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, link below to uh, hoodies. Very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. Recommend giving them a wear. Love.